Why did you re-put up the video afterwards?
Okay, that's I will answer that question, but let me start this video right now, and we'll go to it. So, all right. Um, Hi, I'm host Eric. We're talking about the Courtney drama, which has to do with the fact that Courtney did something that's probably like the one really truly unacceptable thing she could have done, which is she deleted the last 10 days worth of videos from the channel, and most of which did not include her at all, and just deleted them wantonly. She did it maliciously and out of spite, and yeah, so that's the correct answer, by the way, Blanky. That's why I put it back up there. And I mean, I was somewhat shocked to discover that anybody would be that unwise or unthinking in their behavior, because I haven't done anything wrong, as I've said many times. Now, what I want to address here, though, are a couple of points that she's been making and accused me of some things that are simply not true. Number one, she's accused me of basically treating her too sexually or something. But she's pointed out that when I went to Oklahoma, I quote unquote tried to sleep with her. I've discussed here now and explained that what actually happened was I was in no sort of self esteem state to try to sleep with anybody. I was nervously thinking, Jesus, this woman really wants to sleep with me. I guess I should try to sleep with her, because I was getting a shitload of cues from her. Now, note that the horrible thing I did at the end of that evening was say, okay, Courtney, I'm going to try to touch you now, but I'm confused because you give me all these cues, but aren't you with Jay? That's the horrible thing I did. Mm-hmm.
What did she say in response to that, though?
She said, oh, Eric, listen, I respect you a lot, but, and I was like, Courtney, what? But you've been, it was like that, you know? Now, the important thing also to note is the next day, she agreed with me and apologized for giving those cues. We talked on the
Well,
phone, and we texted back and forth, and we talked on the phone. At the end of that conversation, I had given her enough examples that she agreed with me, and she apologized for it, which is why I never talked
okay,
about it publicly.
but did she realize what she was doing of for the cues that you pointed out, did she realize that it
I
was
don't
being
know.
interpreted?
I don't
Okay,
know,
so
but
she could apologize, she could be apologizing for misleading you, but her intentions might not have been there
I didn't say they
to
were.
give
But
you
see, that's the
cues.
thing.
Okay,
I'm not the one who's bringing up that incident. I,
but
I
what you're saying is that she apologized for the cues, but
right.
what you're
But see,
not saying is that if it was her intention to actually give you those cues, like,
because that's not what the point is, right? She's not. I'm not trying to say she was intended to give me those cues or not. It doesn't matter to me. The point is, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not somebody who is some sort of sexual predator going around trying to sleep with everybody I meet with on this trip. At the time, for sure, I was not even remotely close to sexually viable. I was so insecure and uncertain in myself that what I am telling you is if she's trying to portray me as habitually over sexualizing her for no reason or because I'm that way or something, she is lying. That in fact, the one time that her example of me having a history of treating her like this, it was driven by something that we both agreed were her either intentionally or unintentionally cueing me to do that. So much so that even that super insecure guy who would never have dreamed to try to get on anybody like that thought, okay, well, it's pretty obvious now, Eric. I mean, she's doing everything but saying the words, have sex with me. So the thing is, that's not an indication of a problem with me. It's an indication of a problem with her. Okay, but I'm not trying to hold her to account for that at all. It's irrelevant to what we're talking about now, which is the most annoying thing about it. She's trying to make a link here to show a pattern of behavior on my part, but she has no examples of any bad behavior on my part. That's what I'm trying to say here. When I go through,
you also made a claim though that saying that you were trying to manage perception that as though that she wanted you and that you could have had that, and then
okay, well, hey, if that's not true, then that's fine. I don't care about that perception, whether she wanted me or not. It's irrelevant. The conversation stopped being about Courtney.
How is it irrelevant? That's one of her grievances.
What's one of her grievances? What's one of her grievances? Tell me the grievance. Tell it to me. What's the grievance?
You were framing it as though that you could have gotten with her, and that you were managing perception.
When did I frame it that I could have gotten with her? When? I could have gotten with her when?
What?
I could have gotten with her when?
When? After you made the video.
Okay, if I'm framing it that I quote unquote could have gotten with her, which opportunity could I have gotten with her that I didn't get on her?
It was okay. What?
You said her grievance is that I'm framing it as though I could have gotten on her. I'm saying as though I could have gotten on her when? During which opportunity?
During that you could have, if you wanted to, you probably could have got her to fly out there, and that you would have got on her.
Okay, well, I'm telling you right now that if I did try to frame it that way, I was wrong. That it shouldn't be framed that way. That I don't know why I would even think about framing it that way. It's irrelevant to what's actually being discussed here, which is, did I do anything wrong? If I framed something that way, that was like, oh, I bet I could have talked her into it if I played it right. Okay, well, maybe I do think that, or maybe I don't. Who cares? It's not relevant. It's not something right or wrong. It's an interpretation of whether or not I could have framed it that way or not. It doesn't indicate anything about if she's trying to claim that I am sexually harassing her in some way, then she needs to show me a fucking example. She can't show me a dick pic. She can't show me talking to her sexually. I can show months and months of history of the message with not one sexualized comment from me in it towards her at all on Facebook. It's just me fielding shitloads of complaints about every other little detail in the world from this woman. She's complaining about everybody.
Talking sexually is a very subjective interpretation. You don't interpret it that way. She might do it.
Nobody would interpret any of this shit as sexual. Look, let's go all the way back to the beginning of my conversation with Courtney ever, okay? You will not find a single thing in here that's remotely sexual.
I believe that. I don't know that that's
one thing.
I don't see why this is even a thing.
I don't know either. Why did that initial video go up there? Because Courtney would not let go of the simple fact that as a single man, not knowing whether or not she's a single woman or not, and thinking that, oh, well, she's not with Jay anymore, I don't know, maybe she'd be down, and saying, hey, you want to come visit me? Well, why do you want to come visit me? Well, maybe you could earn his best shirt, I don't know. And then she says no. I say, okay, I drop it. That's it. It's done. But then she spends the next couple of hours keep referencing it, bringing it back to sex, and then spends the next 5 or 6 hours after that screaming and yelling about how she would never, ever have sex with me. But I didn't do anything. I just threw out that possibility. I didn't even know if she was in a relationship. And neither of us said anything wrong in that. When she told me she had a boyfriend, I said, oh, you probably shouldn't come out here then. When she told me she was going to have his kids, I said, you definitely shouldn't come out here then. So what did I do wrong? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The thing is, she doesn't want videos up of her because, why? Because they prove how awful I am? I have all the footage of all of our interactions. I would love to show it all. I have no problem. I have nothing to be ashamed of. I did nothing wrong. She doesn't want any of it seen. What does that tell you?
The only thing you did wrong was putting the video back up after she said to remove it. But besides that, you were pretty straightforward.
Listen, I removed it as a courtesy, remember? As a courtesy, not as an obligation. And when she displayed no courtesy in return to me, and in fact the opposite of courtesy for multiple hours, wasting all that time of mine, then she no longer deserved the courtesy. There was nothing wrong about me putting it back up. I'm not obligated to adhere to her wishes regarding the video that she consented to me making. When she entered the room and talked to me while being recorded, knowingly doing so. Anybody else have any thoughts on this thing?
I think that this could have been easily foreseeable and is blowback from an aggressive new approach of yours. And
except it wasn't aggressive, Nick. Except you are talking generally. You give me a single example of anything I did that was aggressive or wrong. In any way. One example.
The video
wasn't aggressive or wrong. I said nothing wrong in that. Give me words that I said, something that I did.
Saying that if I did fly you out here, you would have sex with me.
Okay, because why I was answering her insistent question that I tell her more and more and more information about this. I kept trying to stop talking to her about it.
Hold on.
Should I have lied to her? Should I have lied to her, Nick?
No.
Then what was aggressive about it?
Listen to my words. I didn't say it was wrong.
It was aggressive to answer her question honestly?
It was aggressive to bring it up and to frame it how you did. And just because you didn't explicitly say something didn't mean that you weren't. The subtext wasn't saying otherwise.
There's nothing aggressive about indicating to a woman that she's a sexual consideration for you.
Why did you term it as an educational video, and then it was an opposite of what you had been doing before, which was the opposite of aggressive?
No, what I was doing before was not the opposite of aggressive. What I was doing before was a manifestation of low self-esteem. That's different. Aggression is not what I was doing there. I was being extremely low-key about the whole thing. Extremely low-key. I just said, hey, so when are you going to come visit me, Courtney? And she's like, what? I'm like, oh, yeah, you should come visit me. Well why? Well, maybe you want to earn a special shirt. I don't know.
All you have to do is listen to the raw footage afterwards, after it all happened on Saturday.
And hear what? See, Nick, you keep thinking it matters. You keep thinking it matters my interpretation of what happened more than what happened.
It speaks to the intention of it, which we've already...
The intention is not relevant, Nick.
How
For God's sake, because what I intend is not what I do. Don't you understand the difference between what you say and what you feel?
Still framing it from her point of view. Do I think that she made any good points? No.
Thank you.
Do I think that you fucked up and you're creating a nice argument chain for it afterwards? Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
So we're on the same page.
Am I working within your framework? No.
Okay, well then you have to justify with a prefer my framework argument you haven't made.
You are automatically pushing it into the framework you have. Stop it,
Nick. That everybody wants to say that, okay? That I'm somehow putting it in my framework. The fact of the matter is, I didn't make any mistakes, and so there is no wiggle room. Because I didn't make any mistakes. If there were mistakes that I had made, it would be possible to win the framework argument, but it's not.
What?
Nick, your general critique is this. I don't have any specific critiques. And that's bad because you haven't left it open for me to give any specific critiques.
Is there benefit in that? Maybe I want you to figure it out your own, and maybe any specific critiques will do the same thing. You'll make an argument based specific on those very specific things and not leave any room to wiggle room and not any thinking of it on your own.
Okay, well, all I wanted to do is respond to Janelle. Janelle, unfortunately for Courtney, she has been forbidden from ever sleeping with me. She has had the privilege revoked. For not just suspended, revoked. She is not permitted to have any sexual contact with me at all. So, she needs to stop bringing up sex with me. The last million times that any sort of sexual anything has been discussed with Courtney, Courtney has brought it up, not me. Now, the fact that she protests this too much is a perfectly reasonable conclusion to draw, but it's irrelevant. If she spends 5 hours saying how she would never sleep with me if I were the last man on earth, I'm the most disgusting, hideous thing that she's ever seen, blah, 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 blah. She says all that shit for hours and hours and hours to me based on the horrible crime that I suggested to her that she could visit me, and if she did, that she could expect me to try to get on her. That's not a bad thing that I did. It is a bad thing that she did for a very long time compared to the brief mention of it that she insisted on turning into an opportunity to attack me personally, to make unsubstantiated claims, to outright lie, to destroy my personal property without my permission, obviously, and against my direct will, to break the contract that she entered into me when she promised she wouldn't do exactly that thing that she did. She additionally says at the end of this messenger thing that, so I go back all the way to the beginning, there's not a single bit of anything sexual in all of these messaging, and it's so much me accommodating Courtney's arbitrary bullshit, right? So then today she says, I don't want any more videos of me posted to your main account. Contacted YouTube personally. If you add more videos of me on your public account, you'll get striked out without my consent. Thanks. Without your consent. You don't get to consent to an action between two other parties, Courtney. YouTube's interactions with me are not things you get to consent or not consent to, you fucking retard. I say, Courtney, you've already given me consent by entering the raw room. Footage is my property. Don't need a tweaker asking me to come sleep with him on YouTube, Eric. Don't appreciate the disrespect to my wishes when you promised me plenty of times my privacy was protected. Okay, I don't know what promise you're asking me to make. Your privacy is protected insofar as you have any expectation of privacy. When you publicly have a conversation in a room that's recording it as video for the purpose of me making videos for the main channel from, then you don't have any expectation of privacy for me to respect. For Christ's sakes, you're so stupid. Raw Room isn't your public account. Yeah, it is. It's my account and it's public. Now, are you making a claim upon my property is what I say. The footage is my property to do with it as I please. If it's my identity and you publish it to YouTube without my consent, I ask you to take it off, and I ask you to take it off, they will strike your account. Call them yourself. I said, you consented to be in my videos when you chose to do so by entering the room. You are already guilty of criminal destruction of private property. And she says, 3 strikes, your account disactivated. Thanks, disabled, deactivated. No, I'm not. I contacted them directly. Don't worry, I won't be back. And I say ridiculously because I'm not actually going to do this. I'll be pressing charges. Expect to be contacted by the police today. I'm not going to call the cops. Me too, she says. Already have. She's already called the cops. Sexual confrontations, not limited to face-to-face, Eric. I told you to stop talking to me like that and to take off the video. And I point out again, you need to stop talking to me about sex, Courtney. The only one who brings that up is you. And she says, you're a sick, insane, nasty man. And I point out, except I have hours of footage of you failing to give a single example of anything sick, insane, or nasty that I have ever done. And I have hours
insane and nasty. Look at that.
And I have hours of footage of you saying the most nasty and awful things to me. Sick, insane, nasty, disgusting person. No reason to talk to me. And I have hours of footage of you directly and completely failing to address a single piece of evidence and failing to provide a single piece of evidence or reason that withstands any scrutiny. So your insults notwithstanding, it is you who are unethical and mental and spiritually unwell. She says, I have the texts and videos. Great. Leave me alone and leave me off your sick YouTube. Great, me too. I have the text and videos too. You are messaging me, Courtney. I'm not messaging you. They said to contact you directly and then to provide them with content with me included if problem isn't solved. So I'm asking you once again to leave me off your Talking with Famous People YouTube. Thanks. Well, at that point I realized, okay, I'm not going to win this fight because I'm not going to battle YouTube over this. So I said, okay, it's cool. Oh, it's cool. I won't be posting the videos to YouTube. I'll be posting the videos about the videos. I'll be posting videos about the videos, like this one we're making now, and then linking to the videos I'm referring to in my Dropbox folder. That way, YouTube doesn't have to worry about this mess. You're welcome. And she says, good, because she's an idiot and doesn't understand what I said. Don't care about perception like you, Eric. I don't want videos of a drug addict telling me he will stick his penis in my vagina on YouTube for people I actually value or respect to see. Don't give a fuck about what you or anyone in your Dropbox think, Eric. Stupid threat. I said, what threat? I made no threat. She says, I am requesting once again you keep me off your YouTube. It's simple. Not that difficult to do. Can't understand how you can't understand that and how it is wrong. TWFP content isn't on your main account. It's called Talking with Famous People Raw, you fucking idiot. I do not want to be in any way on the Talking with Famous People YouTube account. Then you shouldn't have come in the channel room that's being recorded, you fucking moron. I said already I will be posting no videos with you in them on the TWFP main channel from this moment going forward. Thanks. Sure, I like the solution I have better. Create some extra buzz. Thank you. Yep.
Single ladies, may I present to you Eric Strauss.
Well, Nick, this is the bottom line.
He's not warm. He's not very attentive to anything emotional or anything. He's not really respectful for the great unknown that is women.
I respect the shit out of him.
If there is a communication error, this is the kind of thing you can look forward to.
I am not talking about a woman here, Nick. I'm talking about a human being who has done human crimes. It had nothing to do with her womanhood or my manhood, for that example. It is one human transgressing upon another. I am the transgressee, not the transgressor, sir. She deleted 10 days worth of videos that did not include her at all. Videos of you, for example, that did not include her at all.
I'm not talking to her right now. I think both of you are silly in this whole ordeal.
I'm not silly at all, Nick. That's the problem. You have made the fallacy of appealing to the middle ground. The correct answer here is not a compromise. It is very cut and dry. She is a completely unethical wrongdoer, and I have done nothing wrong.
You totally could have seen this coming, though, which makes me think that you're wanting it, and I applaud you.
I'm not,
in saying
I wish I were.
You couldn't see any of this coming? This is so...
No, I honestly couldn't. I mean, listen, my presentation of what happened there is as clear and simple and true as it could possibly be. I had mentioned in conversations with others, I should see if Courtney wants to fly out here. The others being specifically Susie and Taylor. And it sort of was percolating in my head. And when I was chatting with her, I cut out the segue into the question where I say, you want to come visit me? But it sort of naturally led there. I thought I'd float the idea. I floated it in the most polite and low-key way imaginable. And then she has made her sexual nature the centerpiece of the attention for the next everything that's happened since. It's been all her demanding that the attention be brought to sex. Even though I'm not about, I mean, I didn't do anything.
Okay.
I didn't do anything. I said, you want to come out here?
Okay.
And I was honest and said, yeah, if you do come out here, I'll try to get on you. I'm going to be honest about that. I'm not going to mislead you.
Well,
Most of the drama's not
You
coming
brought
from
this.
Courtney. She deleted 10 days worth of videos that are not her property and don't include her as a spiteful, malicious effort to harm the channel and the community.
You can't do that. You can't say that was her. You don't know her intentions. Or can you say them so?
Okay, fine, Nick. But listen, if I go through your house and destroy a bunch of shit, can I conclude that I was being? Can you conclude that I was spiteful, or is that going too far?
I can conclude many things based on that. I could say maybe she 10 days worth of or 10 videos in the last couple of days, and she thought maybe her ability to do so revoked, and why not just delete? Well, we'll just delete all of them since that's the easiest, and then
she can't. But here's the problem, Nick. The nature of her position as channel manager does not allow her to mass delete or to group delete, so she has to delete them one at a time. She has to actually choose physically to check the box one at a time and delete those videos, ignoring the fact that it doesn't have her in there.
Because she watched them or something. How would she know that? How many hours worth of watch time is that?
Okay,
how much time?
So
maybe she logged in, like, holy shit, I still have access to this thing. He's gonna find that out. Am I going to go through all these, or am I just going to click, delete?
Nick, how about this video? Audra debates Chloe about feminism is a title. Do you think she might be able? Do you think that might be about Courtney? Audra debates Chloe about feminism. Does she think that might be about Courtney?
Do you have a history of naming titles specific to the content in the video, or is it oftentimes just kind of arbitrary?
Well, Nick, when you're doing something you promised, the one promise you made to me, she made one promise to me, Nick. One.
Answer my question. How come you can't answer my question?
The answer is when you are in the following context, okay? So when you are doing something in direct breaking of a promise to me that you made contingent upon you having the ability to do it in the first place, then absolutely you do have that obligation.
So you're gonna sidestep the whole question. You're gonna make.
What's the question, Nick? Let me go ahead. Tell me. You're saying, is that enough justification?
You said the title says specifically blah blah blah. So she wouldn't delete that. I'm saying, do you always name things specific as to what the content is? Does it tell you by the title what all is going to be in the video? Is that consistent with what you do, or have you consistently said, I kind of make up
consistent.
They're clickbait sometimes.
I'm answering your question. Yes, it's consistent. The titles are consistent with the content of the last several months, but prior to that, no.
Okay.
But if you're saying that somehow,
no.
Okay, so is it possible that she could claim that justification instead of spite as a reason for carelessly deleting a bunch of videos that didn't include her or talk about her at all? Is that a possible argument she could make? Yes. Does it actually hold water and withstand scrutiny and win the point? No. It's not sufficiently warrantful to win that. In fact, it was not spiteful.
I wasn't trying to do that. I was trying to pinpoint that one particular thing that you said that was not true. You were
answering the point I'm making of spite by saying no, it might not be spiteful. She might have been motivated with that.
No, it's not.
Then what is your point? Then why did you make that argument? Where's the impact on the flow? Explain it to me.
I don't know. There was a whole bunch of things I wanted to get to.
Okay, but we're parsing it out one at a time, being honest. So look, what I thought was we were arguing about whether or not her behavior was spiteful or something else. Is that not what we were arguing about?
And I gave my point, and then you said a whole bunch of reasons why, and then I was trying to go to each reason.
Okay, well, to the best of my knowledge, your point regarding the reason why she might have deleted it quickly rather than paying attention, I pointed out that she couldn't group delete. She had to actually look at the title. You said, well, the title's not very indicative of the meaning. But
she has to look at the title, or she has to look at a checkbox.
Okay, but Nick, let's go back to the central. What this point is actually about. Let's go back to the top. Let's go back to the top of the argument block. Okay, be serious. We're making progress. We're actually doing something here. So, okay. So at the top of the argument block was that it's spiteful And then, as an example, I gave she deleted a bunch of videos that didn't include me. And you said, well, maybe she was just in a hurry to get the ones that she did want to get deleted and didn't have time to look at them. And I said, well, she didn't have time to watch each of them. And I said, well, she could tell by the titles basically, and she'd have to check the titles because she can't group delete. And then you said, well, but she might not have believed the title was indicative of the thing. But my point is, she's mass deleting shit at a certain point. Enough urgency of have to delete stuff for her own selfish reasons, and then justifying the speed by which you ignore even the possibility of looking at a title that clearly indicates to you that it doesn't involve you. You just choose to go to the checkbox first. That doesn't. What does that establish? It's not spiteful.
That it was careless. If anything,
careless instead of spiteful. Okay, careless instead of spiteful. I concede I can't prove her motivations are spite.
That's all I'm trying to say. That was my point.
I never tried to say I could prove her motivation was spite. What I said was her behavior is spiteful. At least I would say that it appears spiteful and that it's as good an explanation as any other. Now, the explanation you gave is plausible, but not any better.
I wasn't making a claim other than that you can't make the claim that you made.
Okay, well, I can say I'm interpreting the evidence as her being spiteful, and I believe the evidence sustains that claim of spitefulness better than any other explanation regarding her intentions. Regardless, her intentions are not relevant to the fact that she has committed an actual crime, and she has done much worse than that, which is she's committed the metaphysical crime of being the most stubborn variety of wrong imaginable, of making false claims about me, of hammering home a false impression of me as somehow sexually predating upon her, of using an example when it was entirely her bad and she already admitted that, as an example of my bad, of a bunch of other shit that she's done that would be consistent with an interpretation of spite.
How do you establish if one's being sexually predacious?
Well, for example, let's say, what would it look like if I were being inappropriate?
Is it subjective?
No, I'm answering your question. What would it look like if I were being inappropriate? Well, first of all, there would be a lot of references to sex from me to her in our Facebook messaging thing, rather than from her to me, which is there are a few, but none from me to her, not one in the entire history of our Facebook message, which is the only way I communicate with her directly. There would be a record of me calling or texting her on my phone, of sending her text or something that suggests that are sexually subjective, except there aren't any, and in fact, all the communication is the other direction. Her calling and texting me. Now, it's not sexual that way either.
Well, there has to be history to it. It can't be one isolated event. Rather, there has to be.
There are about 3 things that she can talk about. Okay, there are about 3 things she can talk about. The one happened when I visited her, but the reason it never got brought up before is because I was protecting her privacy and reputation, because we had talked about it personally, and she agreed that she had given me those cues, that it was inappropriate, and that she was sorry. So it's not evidence of my past bad behavior.
That's news. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, and the horrible thing I did being sexually predacious back then was to say to her, okay, Courtney, I'm planning to start to try to touch you soon because you give me all these cues, but I'm confused because I thought you were with Jay. That's the horrible sexually predatory thing I did. I didn't I didn't actually try to touch her. I warned her. I said, I'm going to try to touch you now, except I'm confused because I thought you were with Jay.
You said that?
Those were my exact fucking words.
Oh, wow.
Is that sexually predatory?
No.
That's a man who's very insecure and sort of half broken at the time, being given every signal by this woman, and finally screwing up the courage to say, okay, I think I'm going to try to do something. That's what that was.
Well, then I have to say that your approach makes it really. It looks like you're awfully defensive.
Because I have undergone a multiple hour-long attack from this woman. When I came in here today to talk about this, everybody in this chat room, everybody in the chat started telling me things that Courtney claimed But Eric Courtney said that blah, 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 blah. Except none of the shit that she's claiming is true. It's either partially true and extremely misleading or completely false.
Well, I'm just saying, for what it's worth, if it matters, the lack of FE with it is going to make, you know.
Oh, you think I'm gonna have excellent FE, negative FE, the kind of FE that people got thick coating of shame over them about. That's good FE. That's juicy FE. This woman will be shamed, mark my words. She has lied, misrepresented, and been, worst of all, she has refused to answer my points. She refused to answer my questions. She refused to answer my points. That's the worst thing you can possibly fucking do.
Shamed by you or a group of people? Which is more powerful?
I mean, look, I have only my own self to drive the. I can only do what one man can do.
That's a frustrating answer.
The truth.
Sure. Depending on the individual who makes it, sure. The capacity to do anything otherwise, sure.
I want to catch up on the chat here a bit.
See you guys.
All right, bye. Based on history, we should all know that any perceived attack on Courtney gets blown out of proportion. Just keep things impersonal, things will be fine. There was no perceived attack. That's the thing. She can't point to me ever attacking her or doing anything wrong at all to her. I was nothing but nice and pleasant to her. And I have heard her complain about so many people being bullying her and doing this and nobody has ever really been doing anything to her as far as I can tell. Well, I'm about to add this video taunting her.
Eric, that's why I said perceived and not actual attack, because I've seen it happen before.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
My bad. You're right. My bad. I'm a little ranty, which means sometimes it's a little friendly fire goes places, and I want to keep the friendly fire down to 0. Okay, so that brings this episode of Talking to Famous People to a close. I'm going to upload this shit right now. And, like anybody else, I am ready to talk to her or anybody about anything fairly. If anyone has a complaint about me, a concern about the channel, if they think I'm being unfair, if they think something's fucked up, I want to hear about it. You will never hear me say as an answer to that, I don't care, it's my thing, I'm going to do what I want. Never will you hear me say that. Either my behavior is justified or it's not. Either I did something wrong or I didn't. And if I did something wrong, I want to be called out on it every single time. In this case, I did nothing wrong, and this woman has done a lot of things wrong. And she's going to learn some lessons this time. It's time for her to sit in her desk and do some fucking work.